famous food team.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Your Brain on Air. I'm your host, Ollie Vogt Larson. And folks, I'm so saddened to inform you all. Yesterday, my birthday, July 8th, we lost a real one. Bonnie Tyler, folks, passed away, 75 years of age. This woman was definitional to a lot of folks. Rose to fame, largely remembered for her 83, 84 hits, Total Eclipse, and Holding Out for a Hero. I rather enjoyed her It's a Heartache music from like the late 70s. But folks, rest in peace. Regardless, she was a cultural movement, many times over. And I want to prove that. Let me prove this to you by playing a moment that many of my generation were first introduced to this woman's discography. It's like, it's a defining moment for honestly a lot of Generation Z. We really felt and heard the power and the raw energy that her music had. And it wasn't even her voice. This is how influential this woman was. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to refer you to the modern day classic. Many people, they love to talk about like, oh, I was in the 90s. I remember when I grew up and I was like 10 when Pulp Fiction came out. Well, listen, this I would love to put out there as like Generation Z's Pulp Fiction. The modern day classic, now turning 16 years of age after releasing in the year of 2010. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Folks, let's see this clip. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God! It hits every time. Greg Heffley.
Lovely soprano voice you have.
I'm stunned. Maybe you should play Dorothy.
Maybe you should be Dorothy.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a classic moment. Folks, I'm teary-eyed, I'm extra, I'm emotional, I'm fully realized, I'm complete like Ellen Page. I feel good, I feel vital, I feel virile. Rest in peace, Bonnie Tyler. I feel ready. I feel ready to discuss our next story because honestly, it's going to be tough for me. Let's discuss my hometown getting torn up by a tornado. Now, it must be said, because I'm about to dog on this community because it's a comedy podcast, so you gotta. So let's, first, it must be said, Detroit Lakes, the greater DL area at large. It's a great community, even grander people, good, fine enough individuals looking to make it to tomorrow. Do they really care about you or their neighbors that they don't know personally? Not very much, but they don't want to they don't want to see you die or nothing. They just don't. If they don't really know you, it's the typical Midwest thing where it's like, if we don't have much investment in you, we don't let homeless people permeate the streets, but we're good at policing, a little too good. As a matter of fact, DL police they're kind of an exceptional crew when it comes to a lot of Midwest and Minnesota police forces that I've had interactions with. They just got to work on their response times. Maybe the recruits and long-timers need reevaluation. I won't name names, but if you're from DL, DL is a community of, let's just put it this way, wannabe artists in this hovel in upper Midwest Minnesota. This is like, it's a little tiny region right at a crossroads. You got the plains to your left, you got the trees down to your right, and you got the cities if you head south. It's a very, it's a middle of the road type of a spot. And the proudest thing to our name is a lake with swimmer's itch. Justin Bieber, living legend of the 2010s, visited Detroit Lakes, Minnesota on June 17th, 2016. During his trip, he was spotted wakeboarding on Big Detroit Lake. Wakeboarding? What is there? Listen, not the texture. The water's not right for it. He was dining at Fireside, overpriced. I'm sorry to say it. Overpriced. And by the way, their staff has an attitude problem. They do. They know who they are. Not all of them. Some of them are rather lovely, but they know who they are. They know who they are. He was spotted grabbing drinks at Lakeside Tavern. Elite spot, by the way, and not overpriced like Fireside. Not to say that Fireside is awful, disgusting, whatever you want to say, but it's overpriced to shit. And I understand they want to lock out all the poor people. I get that. And you know what? I get it. I'm not even mad at them because it's the lake culture. We're going to get into the lake culture because the lake culture culture is one of my favorite things about this town. The lake people, oh my God, they are some of my favorite folks. They are my favorite folks because they have the worst interpersonal lives. They are all, regardless of who they are all either cheating on their wives. They have upside down pineapples in their houses. They all do the thing where they like drop the keys in the fishbowl at their parties. You know, I'm sorry to say it, DL's got some swingers, and if you know about it, you know it's it's a kooky community. I'm just gonna say it. DL has like a bit of a Colorado town vibe. It's a little bit of an anything goes for a certain sect of the community. It's not everybody. There's certainly the religious types. There's certainly, you know, you carve out any person you expect to see in a Midwest community, it's there. But it's got this little bit of a bohemian vibe. It's like, oh, we have big troll statues and all of this shit, but we also have like parties that have like weird guest lists and things like that, and we have real estate companies that like make businesses that don't really exist, and it's like, and a lot of money from Fargo is being funneled out here, and it's really strange. And okay, I'm just gonna be honest with you. He also he took a pit stop at the Lake Shirts apparel shop on the beach to get scammed for some bullshit t-shirts that are misprints that stain easily. They didn't make the cut. By the way, that's exactly what they sell on the beach. They sell them for a profit because these ones are misprints, and they want to profit off of dumb bobble-headed beach walkers, morons ready to pour out their dollars for garbage quality t-shirts. Truth, look it up. Before heading to Fargo for his concert at the Fargo Dome, we might or may not have given him swimmer's itch, and that's just how we roll. DL Detroit Lakes. They are they're a fine gaggle of geese up in their homes. Some of them are rich. They live on the south side of the tracks and near the lake. Some of them are poor. You know, they live on the north side of the tracks. They live in the trailer parks, in some of the apartment buildings, the single-story homes. They have half Indian kids. Don't get mad at me. It's just the truth. You meet one of these lake home livers that isn't named Lundeen or Skalberg or Olson. Exactly. Knock it off. There's no Muckwas. There's no Ginus living around that lake. Enough. There's more melanin at a Klan meeting than there is in Detroit Lakes. All except at Walmart. Walmart is starting to get some more Arabs. Since they always start coming in and working at big box stores, then retail, then that's always the first sign. It's big box stores and retail. Then it's fast food, and the service industry. Next is construction, blue collar jobs, then white collar jobs, doctors, whatever's next. It's trackable. It's a data line. You saw it in Fargo. It's provable. Folks, I'm not even saying that there's anything wrong with it, but folks, DL is a great community. It's for like antiquers, people who like to go like shop at the 4 antique stores or thrift shops that are in town. It's a little place where you go to die, really. I'm going to be honest with you. As long as you don't mind shoveling your driveway, having a heart attack when you're like 70 something because you overexert yourself one day, that's going to be, by the way, a lot of people's fates in Detroit Lakes. A lot of people's fate is going to be grumpy old men shoveling their front yard, shoveling their walk, and then dropping dead of a heart attack from overexertion because it turns out not working out after you were playing football back during your high school, college, whatever years, and then just dropping and then continuing the Midwest lifestyle of drinking yourself to death, that eventually leads to like an early death. That is like a 50 you're gonna croak over. That is gonna be, I'm sorry, it's like a lot of folks out there, and I know that it's a big drinking culture. It is. You grow up in Detroit Lakes, it's a lot of drinks, a lot of you go to the DL Liquor. Everybody knows the Liquor Commission, Lakes Liquor. It's right next to Central Market. I used to go over there when I would get out of high school, middle school, and I would watch my teachers pull up in their cars at the end of every single day and walk in there. My history teacher, I'm not going to name names because I'm not that type of guy, but because I understand you're working with kids every single goddamn day, and I remember what we were like when we were kids, especially the kids that would get sent out in the hall every single fucking day. I used to, oh my God, I used to feel so bad for this one math teacher because there was one kid who, I'm not going to name names because I'm not that type of guy. Swedish, Norwegian last name and Norwegian for kind of a basic white kid first name. And he used to torture this fucking 7th grade math teacher. It was hilarious. It was hilarious because it was like, it's obviously funny to watch a teacher get hot-headed on all that shit, but it sucked because he was he was kind of a sweet guy. Like, you felt bad for him deep down. You were like, oh, this guy's nice. I don't feel like he's really equipped to deal with this kind of a pressure. I feel like he just kind of wants to teach, and then people want to get a rise out of him. That it's funny when you're a kid, but looking back, it's like, God, they were absolute pricks to this guy. And he would get sent out in the hall every single day. It was the funniest thing back then. And it was the most uncomfortable thing back then. But whatever, this does not matter. The point is, I understand why there's a drinking problem among the teachers of this community. There's a drinking problem among every teacher, in every community in America. They're underpaid, quite frankly. And by the way, they're the first ones to tell you that. But I'm just going to be honest with you. They are the very first ones to inform you about how bad their finances are going. They're not going to give you I wouldn't have like the teachers telling me that they couldn't pay their mortgage or something like that. But they would make it clear if I don't feel good about a decision that the school board recently made. And I'd be like, I'm in 11th grade. I don't know what the school board is doing. I'm trying to figure out how I can maybe cut class without getting caught again. I'm trying to live my own life. And a lot of them would ensure that they're adults that felt too comfortable sharing shit. I remember one substitute, she told me, she told not me specifically, but she told the entirety of the class about why her mother wasn't texting her anymore. This was in 2018, and I was like, Jesus fuck, who are they getting to teach these goddamn classes? Anyways, Detroit Lakes, ladies and gentlemen, it's a fun community. The teachers, they're doing all right. You know what I mean? The kids are all right. That's the best way to say it. Folks, my community, my homeland, I'm more native to this land than the people who supposedly had teepees here. I was born in the hospital in the heart of town. The doctor was drunk. My grandpa Steve always tells me that. He goes, oh yeah, your mother was getting ready for the delivery and whatnot, the C-section. I could smell the doctor. He smelled like whiskey. And then the doctor, I think he had a mustache. I don't know if he works there anymore. That's debatable. He went in there. He got me out of my mom because I was one of those babies that didn't leave. Because my mother had the whole family show up thinking that I was on the way. Delivery was on the way. It was literally less than a couple hours before I was out. And then it got so late they all went home. I was late. So he goes in there, realizes he's got to fight this fucking monkey out of this woman. In a tussle, he manages to slice the shit out of my face, my right lower cheek, on the jawbone area. This son of a bitch tried to kill me. Naturally, I tried to kill him back. We haven't spoken since. But regardless, my original point is I came into this world bleeding on this land. My doctor literally tried to Freemason sacrifice me on the way out of the womb, almost dying as a baby, which, by the way, I didn't. I was perfectly fine. I lived, but I have the scar to this day. But almost dying as a baby changes you. It makes you appreciate the earth below you, the land, the nature. And nature can be deadly, much like she hath proven on my town recently. I don't know if DL is wrought with sin recently, or if they just are encroaching on God's will right now, but these are biblical plagues that he is unleashing on my hometown. Let's see some of these clips that are from inside of people's homes, some of them from the news. I mean, we're talking about rich, white Swedes, Ludfisk eaters, Norwegian folks, nice blonde people, and the brown-eyed and whatnots that intermingled with the Germans and whatnot, getting their platoons knocked over. This is awesome tidal wave biblical shit.
Hunter, stay in there!
Hunter! Oh shit!
There's devastation in this community after a tornado touched down, bringing the heavy equipment to try to dig these people out just north of Detroit Lakes, Minnesota.
Holy shit.
The tornado hit on Monday evening. It destroyed trees, flipped over boats in the water, that's Floyd Lake.
That's
and
awesome.
roofs off of houses. One woman likened all of this to a scene in a scary movie that's become all too real. People around here are trying to work out what to do because there aren't any simple answers for them in these early 24 hours after the storm hit.
That shit's
They're trying to
torn
work
up.
out if their homes are even recoverable, with around 30 people making use of a nearby shelter that the Red Cross set up at M State. The Becker County Sheriff says 3 people were sent to the hospital, but in the midst of all this destruction, as is so common in Minnesota, after there is heartache, there are people with smiles. We saw this couple show up with a tray of sandwiches and some water.
Nice blonde lady. A nice blonde lady walking up with sandwiches and shit like that. This is so Minnesota core. I love it.
Crews working to clean up here.
You know, it looks like they're doing good. I love the video at the start where this woman's recording from inside her living room. It's pitch black because the power's probably knocked out. And she's going, Hunter, stay in there. She's probably yelling at her kid. Hunter, I went to school with like 6 or 7 Hunters. It's a common name up here. It's awful. I'm sorry. No diss on the Hunters. It's an awful, just overused one. I'm sorry. It's that. It's Jack. It's James. It's a lot of J names. I'm going to be honest with you. There's so many overused names up here. I'm not trying to target anybody. I'm not trying to, but if I meet another Taylor or like, I'm gonna scream. I swear to God. If people don't start spelling it in a different way, like Taylor, like Teeyler, I'm gonna freak out.
Tried off houses, overturned boats, and ripped trees right out of the ground in
Wow.
Floyd Lake and nearby Detroit lakes. Branches landed on cars and even crashed into some swimming pools there. The tornado sheared the roofs off of several homes and buildings. There's debris. You can see it all over the place.
That's
At least
incredible.
one building appears to have collapsed altogether. Earlier today, we spoke with someone who lives in the area and saw much of the damage. We also heard from the Becker County Sheriff.
Becker County Sheriff.
Pointed it to the north, and then I'll go ahead and swing you around and give you a shot to the south. You can see the damage there, and as bad as this looks, the damage on the west side of the lake is even more substantial.
We were tracking the storm.
Todd Glander, Becker County Sheriff. Becker County Sheriff Todd Glander. Whether or not you hear this is indeterminable, but I would like to extend a personal apology. I understand that I am not responsible for my biological father's behavior, and I understand that he has been a bit of a headache for your entire crew. Honestly, the law in DL, it sounds like he has made his enemy. The law in general, it seems he has made his enemy. He regularly messages me, by the way, continuously, and that's fine, but it's like, it's on TikTok, he goes like, I'm winning my case against the state. Whether or not he is like, it's up there. What if Tim Walz pays him $666 million? Good on him. That all that money would have went to Somali pirates anyways, because you know what I mean. It's like whether or not that lawsuit is coming close to being ended, and whether or not I'm gonna win because my airboat, it doesn't harm rice beds or something. Or that's what the argument was, at least from him. He's like, I'm not tearing up rice fields. I'm just riding a boat over it with a huge fucking fan. I'm not doing shit to it. I'm just harvesting how we have been for generations. The treaty 1855 would have covered airboats, according to him. Todd Glander, I know I haven't done anything to personally, offend you or anything like that. I just, it's got to be tough for you guys, and I want to apologize for the effort that you guys must have to go through to escort him and his buddy Martin Seeger. If I mention that name, also a lot of people, they hear that I mentioned that name, and I mention you mention the biological father's name anywhere in the community, and if they're vaguely aware of things, or if they kind of know him, it's not for anything good, or it's an interesting reputation to carry around. But Todd Glander, personal apologies from me for something that I'm not responsible for. I hope that the job gets easier, and I hope that he stops causing you guys headaches.
And all of a sudden, we were right in the middle of it. And it was one of those situations where you didn't know what was going to happen. You didn't know if you were going to end up in the ditch or if it was going to take you with it.
The sheriff mentioned that all 3 people who went to the hospital...
Okay, Glander, Sheriff Glander, we got to work on this media appearance, though. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to talk to you here sincerely. Maybe veneers. Maybe we do something with the teeth. I'm saying that, they're not awful. They're just given a little, are you English? Are you of English descent? Because I'm just curious, there's a little bit of gum receding. I'm just a little concerned. I want to make sure that you're in top fighting physical form. When's the last time that you took the fitness gram pacer test? When was the last time that you ran back and forth, from wall to wall continuously? Because I want to make sure that if you're serving as the sheriff, if people are serving in the Detroit Lakes Police Department, they are going to be of substantial fighting physical form. Now, I only bring this up as a concern. Because they have, I'm just going to be honest with you, a clearance rate, meaning they they catch the criminal, like almost worse than Fargo. Fargo, you flip a coin. In here, you like, oh, I'm gonna murder somebody. Flip a coin, heads or tails. That's the chance of you getting caught. It's like 50-50. In DL, it's like 60-40. You know what I mean? It's like there's an even bigger chance that you're probably not going to be caught. There was a carjacking outside of the Midwest Bank and of a gentleman of darker descent or something. We don't want to say that he's black, but a man of colored ethnicity is he's got a car. Everybody watch out. What are you talking about? Like, just tell us that he's black. Give us a description. Tell us what the car is. Okay, whatever. Like, I'm just going to be honest with you. The DL Police Department, they're not in top physical form. A lot of these people are used to walking around schools for their physical activity. They're not the most physically fit. Most of these gentlemen look like ham at Christmas dinner. I'm going to be on, like, they look like the ham, not like they've had too much of the ham. They look like the ham. Anyways, I'm just saying, I think that there should be a little bit more performance review at the Detroit Lakes Police Department. I think there should be a little bit more, checking up on your local man. If your buddy is getting McDonald's every other day, you got to tell him about the goy slop. You got to inform him. You got to actually help him, because he's not going to be able to save himself. Ladies and gentlemen, this is tragic. Todd Glander, comfort the community continuously, and best of luck to you with the everything. Crime is ridiculous, and your town is being ransacked by individuals seemingly every day. You guys are uncovering pedophiles. You guys are uncovering meth operations. It's like, you guys are, I'm going to admit, you guys are good when it comes to like the cyber crimes division unit. You guys are good at catching people on the whatevers. That makes me a little nervous about the surveillance state that you guys are developing there, especially for such a small town, small community. But I'm happy when it's being put to good use. So, congratulations, Becker County Sheriff's Office. I hope that your fight against crime continues to go well, and I hope that my community is able to recover swiftly. They're gonna band together. I've given them some shit for how they don't care about people and how they're like, self-obsessed and whatnot. But who isn't? Admittedly, you know what I mean. And Midwest passive aggression just makes it come out more frequently. But they're perfectly fine people. They'll make you a sandwich. They'll let you sleep on the couch a night. But they have kids. Get the fuck out of their house. You know what I mean? Go find a hotel. The budget host, they'd had a car rammed through the front of it, but I think that they still are open for lodging, ladies and gentlemen. That's just an option if you're homeless in Detroit Lakes. All right. I think we should cover some of the major stories of the day. Like, for example, Graham Platner. Listen, I wanted to take the Stephen King approach, because Stephen King, weirdo that he is, possible just like fantasizer about young individuals having intercourse in the sewers after like defeating a clown. Just a bizarre little man, mousy dude that he is. I wanted to take his approach though to the situation with Graham Platner, where he said on Twitter, very famously in the last episode, if you knew the real down situation on everybody in Senate and Congress, it would be jack empty. Like, you would have nobody there because they all have secrets. And I like that he's so open and honest about it. I like that he is open and honest about the fact that these are all, honestly, people who have drank the blood of children. These are people who have consumed youth, literally speaking, consumed youth. And it doesn't work for Mitch McConnell anymore. It's they are literally taking children's craniums, cutting them open in the same room as Mitch McConnell, and beelining the brain matter fucking juice into his brain to try to bring him back. But it's not working. That child died for nothing. This corpse will not be reanimated. Mitch McConnell's over. And, Graham Platner was about to fill a nice seat in the Senate. He wanted to replace Susan Collins. He had this whole plan. And then it has been derailed, not by the accusations that he's a cheater, not by the accusations that, he has a Nazi tattoo, not by the listen, this man's had a bit of a web of controversy around him. So what? In the words of his very croaky voiced defendant, if we wanted people that were grown in vats, we'd have a very different country. I hated it. It was the worst thing. I don't understand what the PR our team was going to go with, where they were just like, yeah, he may have grabbed a lady by the pussy in 2021. He may have raped his former girlfriend. But if we wanted people who were not capable of restraining women down for their sexual desires, we'd have a very different country. That's at least what their defense was going to be. So now, it's the sudden exit has kind of shaken up everything. The 41-year-old Marine veteran, progressive outsider, officially suspended his campaign late last night after former girlfriend, Jess, I forget her name. It doesn't matter. It really does not matter. Has accused him of severe sexual assault dating back to 2021. She sat on this for 5 years. Political hit piece. Platner's departure leaves the National Democrats scrambling to salvage a seat widely considered crucial for their hopes to flip the Senate chamber this November. I'm actually doubting that they're going to be able to flip it at this point. It's getting to the point where I think if they're really thinking, and I know that the Grey's Anatomy actor, they already approached him and he's like, no, I'm not going to run. You guys, you need somebody else. I have a prediction as to who they're going to get to fill this seat, but we'll get to that near the end. He has Platner's decision to drop out of it came in an 11-minute video posted on his social media, launching a bitter parting shot at the party leadership in Washington. He insists the sexual assault allegations are categorically untrue, and he argued the political establishment has used the scandal as a structural leverage to completely dismantle his campaign's resources, which, listen, he's not wrong that they've definitely pulled everything from him. Like, it's been every ounce of support this man has absolutely dissolved. It's baked up in the heat. It's out. The cake is dry. It is not moist. It is not worth eating. It's like, throw it in the garbage. We have to start baking again. He has previously weathered these several personal controversies to win the June primary with a historic 72% of the vote. Holy fuck. His support has evaporated in less than 48 hours after prominent progressive allies like Senator Bernie Sanders feel the burn publicly urged him to step aside. Damn it. The immediate focus now in Maine is shifting to the 11th hour race against the clock to find a replacement candidate capable of defeating longtime Republican incumbent Susan Shaky Collins. Because Platner agreed to formally withdraw his name ahead of the strict deadline on June 13th, local party leaders now have a narrow window until 5 p.m. on July 27th to select a new nominee. The Maine Democratic Party, Maine, not Maine as in like the main one, but Maine as in the state, has announced plans to hold an emergency nominating convention later this month to finalize a ballot. While several prominent figures, including former state officials, lawmakers, and even are already positioning themselves to jump into the race, national Republicans have wasted no time capitalizing on the controversy, heavily criticizing the Democratic Party for failing to properly vet their primary winner. The Republican National Committee issued a scathing statement accusing Platner's former endorsers of being complicit, arguing that the entire party is now politically stained by the association. They've been politically stained by their association with pedophilia for even longer, so let's knock it off. You guys too. Both parties have been stained by this. They're no better than like the Catholic Church. With just over 100 days left until the general election, Democrats face an uphill battle to heal the deep internal divisions and unite voters behind a brand new candidate. And I don't know how that's going to work for them. I don't know how it's going to work because this guy had the crowd appeal. People really liked him for some reason. I don't understand the appeal. This man's walrus mustache really. I've never liked the people who grow with a walrus mustache into their beard. It really, I never like where it hides your top lip. I think it just looks gross. I think you look like you look like you work on a Zeppelin in the fucking 1930s. Like, you just don't look right. Okay, let's look at his video. I want to hear it in his words because supposedly this is not an admission of guilt. It just looks a hell of a lot like one.
Hey everyone, it's Graham Platner here.
Hey everyone.
I think as many of you know, over the past couple days, I have faced some very serious allegations, and I just want to make it clear, this is all false.
If this is all false, you should have no problem winning the election. That's it.
And I just want to make it clear, this is all false. The things that have been claimed did not happen. It's not real. It has placed an immense amount of weight on me as I think about what needs to happen now.
There's someone off camera with a gun pointing at him.
Regular people. We were not looking for this experience. We were not looking to get into politics.
What?
We had no desire to run for office.
Who went up on stage and talked about how they needed to run for Senate? Who was the one who flung themselves into the race? No one said it had to be you.
Like what you would do.
What would
as a
I
regular
do?
Person in a position where a much larger world, large forces,
Oh my God.
were working against you personally to accuse you of the worst thing that a person could do, and it was not remotely true. I learned about this through press inquiries, with no time to truly respond, no time for investigations before a corporate media system and the political establishment got to act as judge, jury, and executioner.
Political executioners.
Accusations were supposed to be the beginning of things.
Yes, I
not
agree.
the end.
You are making it sound so faggy to be anti-establishment. He's like, the anti-establishment is the establishment. They're doing everything they can to derail my platform. If you're correct, your platform will stand on its own. If you are, listen, if this is some smear campaign, I want you to prove it. I want you to prove it by staying in the race and winning.
I think it's really important to understand why this is happening in the timeline.
I'm
Why
speeding
this is
up your
happening
video
right now,
because
much
you're
like
so
October,
slow.
When the first attack started, much like the news that was created the week before the primary, there is a reason that this is happening now. I only have until July 13th until I am officially the nominee. This was the last week to try to get me off of the ballot. And that's why this is occurring.
Okay, if this is, yes, I agree. I actually agree with him. Because this could be a political hit job. I actually agree that it probably is. This bitch sat on these accusations for 5 years and waited for the perfect time because she's probably getting a dollar on the side. No, this is a satire show. We're just having fun. But he can prove that she is a bullshitting, lying cunt by staying in the race. Now, this actually leaves me in an uncomfy position because I'm like, do I believe her? Because he's acting incredibly guilty. He's acting incredibly suspicious. This is not out of character. This man's proven to be a sexual deviant in the past. He's into communism. He's an interesting fellow all around. And this would not be remotely surprising behavior coming from him. So, it adds some validity. There's some actual meat to the idea that he would be the type to do these sorts of things. And he is throwing more fucking gas on this fire by proceeding to say, now look, none of these people are telling the truth. But I really need to take time to just step away and think about what my next move is. Because that sounds like someone who's trying to find a good lawyer.
It's not the false allegations, though, that have brought us to where we are. It's the fact that they're being used by the political establishment to put structural pressure on us.
And pressure can be ignored.
We live in a political system that is not built for normal people. It is a system that is built structurally to make sure that movements like ours cannot flourish. That if they begin to succeed, they can be crushed. What we have accomplished here, you made possible.
Did I?
People of Maine, the volunteers, the voters, the grassroots donors, and I have all the faith in the world that we could win if we could continue to harness that.
Can we?
But the brutal political reality is that they are going to take everything away from us.
How are they going to do it? Because is it going to be a trial that they have something that they can convict you on? Is it going to be something that is like legitimate? Is it something that can actually stain your name because there's some validity to it? That is the only reality. That is the only reality.
Those in power who have the ability to do so are using these allegations as an excuse to take away all of the things that we need to run a campaign.
You fucking rapist. This guy's a fucking rapist. He did it.
We are going to lose our ability to fundraise. We are going to lose our ability to access voter data. We are going to lose all of the things that any campaign needs on the basic level.
No, that's not true. Yes, I understand. You think you need financing. You think you need this. You think you need, because the election, whatever, is coming up soon. We need more time. Hold your own rallies. You've collected so much from grassroots donors. You have this energy at home. You are backing out of this race because you're a fucking rapist.
Simply to function. Larger organizations, the national level party, the bigger donor networks, they have all committed to spending no money in this race.
And you need them? I thought you only needed your grassroots voters. 72% of the vote is something. The only reason you're backing out is because you're guilty.
In it. They would rather see Susan Collins win than have me be the next senator from Maine.
Almost sad.
What comes next needs to come from the people.
What?
Needs to come from the people of Maine. Needs to come from the voters who on June 9th, at a strength of over 150,000, the largest number in the history of Maine primaries, said no to this kind of politics. Voted for a politics that would actually represent them. Voted against the political system, against the donor class, against the entrenched forces. And I'm not asking for how this process is going to work. I'm not trying to dictate to anyone who it should be or how we get there, but I will say this. It needs to be open, transparent, and democratic. It needs to be reflecting the will and the values of the people that built
this is just
movement,
nothing.
the people that showed up on June 9th.
Don't pay attention to how I might have raped
Slave
this
DC.
woman.
Decisions should not be made in back rooms by people in places of
All the people in the back rooms.
Party apparatchiks are
Oh.
to make these decisions.
What do you got against the movie The
These
Backrooms?
decisions need to be made in the open by the people of this state.
The
People
people.
who got us here.
They had decided. They voted in an overwhelming historic majority, but you're only backing out because you're a fucking rapist.
This is exactly the kind of political system that everyone voted against on June 9th. And for that reason, we need to be assured that it is going to be open and democratic as we move forward.
Quit sighing.
Amy and I struggled about getting into this. Last summer, right around this time of year, we sat down and we looked at each other and we said, if we believe in the kind of politics we think that we do, we have to do this.
Do
Over
what?
the past couple days,
Steal a bunch of people's money, waste it on a bunch of rallies, and then proceed to drop out of a race and just, oh, sorry guys, we gave it our all, but somebody accused me of sexual assault, so like, I can't stand up to that accusation. This political elite, the mainstream media, they're gonna try to fucking derail it,
really yesterday and today, we have had to have that exact same conversation. I believe that for the movement to continue, it can't be me. And for that reason,
Quit touching your face.
we are suspending campaign operations. This is incredibly difficult because I know that some will think it's an admission of guilt, and it most certainly is not.
It is.
We're not doing it because of the allegations. We're doing it because of the structures that are being taken away from us by those in power.
The structures. We're not able to get all of the money. The money. We all need the money. I thought you had such grassroots supporters. You had so much money pouring in from all these fucking innocent Mainers that, give you $5. They give you $5,000 here because maybe they're a small business owner. And then that money is wasted on what? A rapist, loser who can't grow fucking beard.
And I also feel an immense amount of responsibility to everyone who has worked so hard to get us to where we are.
You disappointed all of them. You made them all support a rapist.
We went toe-to-toe with one of the most entrenched political systems in the history of the world, and we won.
No, you didn't. You literally lost. You're admitting
We beat
defeat.
them on
You've
June 9th
lost.
in overwhelming numbers.
No, that's a primary. That's not a real election.
We did it the right way. We built a campaign. We engaged in electoral
And now you're
politics.
gonna
We motivated
lose.
people.
You're gonna
We banded
lose.
together. We did it the way that we were told we are supposed to make change.
This is
And we won.
pathetic.
And now they are not going to let us have it.
Have it. Let us have it. Our victory.
And so we're suspending campaign operations. I want to make clear, though, I intend to file my paperwork to withdraw. The process needs to assure that what comes next is reflective of the Mainers who on June 9th turned out and showed that they are desperate for a different kind of politics.
Shut up. You're not the movement leader. You're not the one who gets to set the vibe.
The will of the people.
I say that this is what it needs
And
to
the
be.
decisions that come next must come from that.
Wrap it up.
All we were asking for was health care.
All we were asking
Was
for
to
was
end
healthcare.
genocide.
And genocide.
To use our taxpayer dollars at home to uplift our communities instead of waging war overseas.
Oh my god, he's just
We were
leaning on
asking
the
for a fair
Israel
system.
bullshit. Yes, I can agree with you. We need to stop the genocide. We need to stop all this bullshit. You are leaning on this just to be a pathetic loser piece of shit who, rapes women, steals people's money, and then proceeds to waste it on a campaign. He loses, or doesn't even bother to lose. He drops out of. It's even more embarrassing, shameful. What do the people of Maine need? Well, the Democratic Party have already decided for them, ladies and gentlemen. They need to get a Stombine or whatever of their own.
I gotta get a Greenstein or a Rosenblatt of my very own.
Yep.
Nothing else has worked so far, so I'll wish upon a star. Wondrous dancing speck of light, I need a Jew.
Folks, it will be a Jew. I call it right here, right now. You are going to get it. You're not gonna ask for it, but you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it because it's what the people want. Who are the people? The people with the money. The people with the money that have already sorted out who is gonna win this election. They realize that Susan Shaky Collins her Parkinson's is too far advanced. They can't keep her in there. It's too late. So they are gonna shift on over to someone else, someone good, someone that falls right in line. And this populist era, this little moment that you guys had with Graham Platner, this let's just do the healthcare. We're just gonna say, yeah, that will all fizzle out. We'll just stop with that. And we're just done. We're going back to the usual. We're going back to Obama era, feel good politics, not really moving the needle, starting wars overseas, toppling Libya. We're gonna do it all. We're gonna do it all, and we're gonna do it while we're smiling. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that we should go ahead and move on to our next story. Somali gangs in Minnesota. They've drawn the attention of the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office. Listen, according to data released by this office, the escalating violence has been linked to at least 14 homicides and more than 100 shootings over the past 2 years. Investigators note that unlike traditional crime syndicates, these groups are rarely driven by narcotics or financial gain. Instead, the violence is largely fueled by social media posturing, ego, and rapidly escalating viral rivalries, which have recently boiled over into public spaces like high school graduations, university campuses, and the Minnesota State Fair. Law enforcement officials in the Twin Cities are sounding the alarm right now over the sharp rise in regional gang violence. County Sheriff Bob Fletcher has publicly called for an urgent coordinated action to address the growing network of localized Somali youth gangs. According to the report, roughly 12 distinct groups have formed across the metropolitan area, spanning from Minneapolis to St. Paul to surrounding suburbs like Burnsville and Arden Heights. Sounds like a lovely gaggle of folks and a religion of peace, quite frankly. This is like when all the Italians were, those beautiful Catholics, they were, stabbing each other in New York City. It's like, oh my God, maybe we should stop bringing these damn dirty Italians in here. I'm going to be honest with you. I've never been a big fan of like a meatball parmesan or whatever. It's not a big thing for me. I love their oily, skin, their like kind of swarthiness to them, but that's about it. Sheriff Fletcher emphasized the department's focus on saving lives and protecting vulnerable young people, estimating that the violence is driven by a relatively small group of roughly 300 teenagers. In response, the sheriff's office is launching an outreach initiative offering educational classes for families and faith leaders to spot early signs of gang development. Meetings are scheduled for July 21st in Arden Hills to bring law enforcement and residential voices together. Local offices are coordinating major community-wide town halls. Interesting. Okay. Public remarks have also sparked some friction and pushback within local government. Minneapolis City Council member Jamal Osman expressed disappointment with the terminology used by the sheriff's office, arguing that public officials should focus on investing in local youth rather than using public platforms to risk stereotyping the broader Somali American community. Shut the fuck up. Interesting. You know, I want to hear about the facts and the facts alone.
After a violent holiday weekend, we have the Ramsey County Sheriff who says something has to be done about Somali gangs in the metro. Sheriff Bob Fletcher says the first step is calling out the problem and then trying to get a grip on it. Our Karen Scullen explains more on the violence and what's being done about it.
The Ramsey County Sheriff says this is not an effort to target the Somali community, but rather save young boys within the community that are choosing a gang life that is becoming increasingly dangerous.
A number of shootings and a homicide over the 4th of July weekend involving Somali gangs.
Fun.
On Wilson Street in Minneapolis, the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office says a Wilmer soccer coach was killed as part of Somali gang violence, but the problem didn't start there.
This last weekend we were at the Juice Time in Arden Hills. There was 300 young Somali kids there, and some of them were gangsters, and we had a number of us law enforcement officers there that curtailed their activity, but 2 hours later they were shooting someone over in northeast Minneapolis, same group.
How
Fletcher
nice.
and his investigators say Somali gang violence is growing fast and spans the metro, with 12 Somali gangs from Minneapolis and St. Paul to St. Cloud to Apple Valley and Burnsville. Ramsey County tracking the violence within the Somali community. The majority of it is gun violence.
Yes, we had an incident over the weekend in Minneapolis where an innocent young man from Woodbury was shot, and he's in the hospital right now fighting for his life. And it's causing a lot of problem for the community.
Somali gangs are still young and growing, with about 300 involved right now. The gangs really coming on scene in 2022. But what separates their actions from traditional gang violence is it's mostly just about bragging rights.
From what I've seen is that right now it's all about showboating. It's all about ego. These kids, for the 99% part of it, they aren't selling narcotics. It's all about just gloating.
You want rookie on the drill? You want rookie on the drill?
The gang battles are fueled by social media, like this viral video taken outside the St. Paul River Center in May that ended with people shot and in jail.
Kids getting killed every day, right? We have kids that are getting into the system early, right? So we have kids who are
Less than 20 years from now. 10 years, actually. So the 2030s are going to be big for gang rap. I'm from the south side, Minneapolis. I got a big forehead. It's going to be big. Trust me, I just predicted an entire genre that's going to come out. It's going to be like, you know how Chicago rap sounds different from East Coast rap and West Coast rap and all that shit? Minneapolis rap. It's going to develop its own Somali-inspired sound. I like it.
carrying guns.
It's got like a Middle Eastern, like or something.
Right? And the parents are not aware of it. Parents don't know, right? That's the issue that we've seen lately, right? So that's why we're here.
Now, on July 21st, there will be a meeting here at the patrol station in Arden Hills. It's for the Somali community, for families, for parents, for young people to learn more about the problem and how they can help. In Arden Hills, Karen Scullen, Fox 9.
Hey, let's hope something goes well for them. I hope that, their outreach program is able to get some young jits to not kill each other. And I hope that they can just all move to Nellyville, where all newborns get $500,000, you know what I mean? 1 year gets 1/3, 2 years gets 2/3. I love that song. Oh my god, I gotta listen to that again. Anyways, Dilemma by Nelly. Everybody listen to that if you get the chance. Bomb explodes. Rapid fire section of today's headlines. A bomb explodes near the French President Macron's hotel in Syria. So it sounds like Macron, Emmanuel, dater of Brigitte Trogneau, Jean-Michel Trogneau, excuse me. Macron had left the hotel when blasts took place. 2 bombs exploded outside of his hotel where he spent the night in Damascus. Damascus, where Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara and in his presidential palace and on Syrian TV and said that 18 people were wounded, including 4 police officers. In his own brief statement on X, Macron did not mention the explosives directly, but said that nothing could smother the aspiration of Syrian women and men to live in a fully sovereign, safe, pluralistic, and united Syria, adding, "My visit continues." Interesting. Well, I'm glad he sees this bomb as a solid example of, I don't know, the undying free spirit of the Syrian women and men, and I don't know what he's trying to get across here. Syria is a deeply free place for a lot of individuals. Is that the bombing is a symbol that, like, these people, they want something more. They want something more out of life. They want schools for their kids and whatnot that they're going to proceed to blow up after that. Anyways, whatever. I hope his trip continues to go well. But I want to talk about something goy sloppy. I want to talk about something because it makes me feel better about who I am as a person. Swifties, interestingly enough, are buying Taylor Swift's wedding trash from outside Madison Square Garden. This... I don't like any of this. I'm not a fan of any of this.
Fans are now buying Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding trash. An artist who sells New York street litter collected rubbish outside Madison Square Garden after the wedding and basically turned it into these tiny collectible cubes. Now, they include things like cigarette butts, bottle caps, a ring pop, and even an ovulation test. Each one sold for around £25 and have actually already sold out. And it gets even crazier. Someone else has even listed a bag of air that they claim was collected from inside the wedding venue, and it's going for a whopping £50,000. We have a
$50,000 US. That is, that's school money. That's car money. That's life-starting money, and people are willing to blow it on air from inside of a woman's wedding. A woman none of them know. A woman none of them are personally familiar with. A woman that, quite frankly, they've never met in their life and never will meet in their life, but they would love the chance to breathe the air that she managed to. I think about the world that we live in, and I go, this world is retarded enough to where we will see the Jake Paul administration. I'll see it before I'm dead. I'm gonna, I know I'm gonna be assassinated at 33 by the Freemasons. It's fine. It's probably gonna be like, on a street corner that looks like a menorah or something like that. And it's gonna suck, but until then, I plan to hopefully live until I see the first Paul administration, I think it's gonna be Logan and Jake running against each other, but then, whoever wins, it won't really matter because they're both getting paid off by the same people. But will they be doing a better job than President Trump is right now? That's debatable. It's debatable because President Trump is just in the meetings with people at NATO going like, well, I don't know if we have the best relationship. When's the last time we talked to Spain? Cut off all trade with Spain, please. I just love, no phone calls either, please.
Cut off all trade with Spain, please. Spoke to Italy. I didn't speak to Spain. Spain is a wasted cause. We don't want to do any trade business with Spain anymore, by the way. I'd like you to cut it off. Spain is a terrible partner in NATO. They don't participate. They don't pay. I don't want anything to do with Spain. Cut off all trade with Spain, please. Including visits. Okay, we don't want anything to do. Watch them come running back. Oh, they'll come running back. They treat this man terribly.
Just points to the Turkish guy.
They're lucky they have him.
They're lucky they have him. He's so... Stop being gay. Stop slipping the gayness into everything. He's always like, this guy's a great man. He's a fine man. He's fantastic. You don't have to hype man everything. He does like the candies, the level hype manning. This is like Drake's commercial. It's cringe. Fire officials are saying that a 23-year-old man was killed after a mortar-type firework he was holding exploded in front of him. A lot of shit is going on in Minnesota's heads right now. Minnesotans' heads, they don't like tragic things, and then they're perfectly willing to ruin other people's lives to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Case in point, a lot of major fireworks are completely illegal in Minnesota. The reason that a lot of people do get away with them is they take up those fireworks to the lake, and then they manage to, blow their fingers off somewhere else, if they're stupid. If you're smart, you manage to, set off fireworks and have a great time and not do that for, like, the entirety of your life. But if you're a dumb piece of shit who likes to light fireworks in your hand or anything like that, you can expect one of these cases, one of these news reports to be about you someday.
Around 1:30 in the morning, the 911 call went out that a man in his 20s was holding a large mortar-type firework when it exploded right in front of him.
Whose fault was that?
Pretty devastating case.
Dr. Ryan Fay was working in the burn unit at the Hennepin County Medical Center when the patient came in. He says the patient experienced a serious blast injury to their body.
Unfortunately hit right center mass.
And despite their best efforts, the trauma team couldn't save him.
So the fireworks is basically black powder. It creates a concussive shock wave that fractures ribs, can injure the heart, lungs, liver, the internal organs.
Fay says it was a busy 4th of July weekend at the burn unit with about 15 to 20 cases. Many of them involved serious injuries, though none of them as serious as this one.
It is uncommon to have a fatality.
State Fire Marshal Dan Cryer says Minnesota hasn't seen a fatal fireworks accident since the 4th of July in 2022. Around 1:30 in the morning.
2022? That's only 4 years. What are you talking about? All right, this is not the only case. A man in Arden Hills had a firework go off in his hand.
Just in this afternoon, a man is dead after a firework exploded in his hand. According to the Lake Johanna Fire Department, it happened early Sunday morning on top of an abandoned Army ammunition plant in Arden Hills.
Whew.
And that is not far from Turtle Lake. According to authorities, a man in his 20s was holding a mortar tube with a firework inside when it exploded in front of a big group of people. Emergency responders were able to get the man off the roof and to the hospital, but he died later from his injuries. This incident is currently under investigation.
I will say this, it sucks when these sorts of situations happen. It teaches you more about the people that it happens to than it does teach you about whether or not we should have fireworks. I don't believe that banning people from these types of things, especially fireworks where in the right hands they can have a great time. Just don't be mistaken. Minnesota and soon the United States will have like a thing implemented to where, okay, well, maybe you can have these fireworks, but you have to have a license for it. That's going to be a big thing. DNR, all these sorts of people that are out there to protect wilderness, they're going to be like, you can't set these fireworks off because they're bad for the environment. See, they release the CO2, they do all this shit. People burn the boxes that the fireworks come in, all this shit. It's bad for the environment. You need a license, you need all the documentation, we need to know what you're going to be setting off, and it's going to be regulation until nobody wants to do anything anymore on their own. Nobody wants to have a family get together at the cabin or at the lake anymore, and everybody just wants to go, all right, fine, let's go be faggy and sit on a fucking, I don't know, like, let's go sit, where do we even go? We sit in the park and watch some fucking, like, the beach of our local town set off a bunch of fireworks? You can barely see it over the trees.
He's not doing good. He's going to be in the hospital for about 2 months. His hands are literally butchered.
One of Maria Escalante's twin sons lost several fingers. His right hand is mutilated, she says, after a teenager he was with on the 4th of July lit an illegal firework they found on a street in Anaheim. It exploded, she says, in their hands.
Well, they're going to do their best to reconstruct his hands, but they can't guarantee nothing. He's going to surgery tomorrow. They're going to see if he has proper circulation going into the last fingers he has, to the few fingers he has left in his hand. And if it's the splice not circulating properly, they're going to amputate his fingers.
Escalante is keeping what's left of one firework that she found on South Mountain View Avenue that she says she's taking to her lawyer. It's where
Who are you suing exactly? Your son made a mistake. That's unfortunate. I'm sorry that it happened. But who are you going to hold responsible for this?
16-year-old boy was celebrating. The other teen was also badly injured with burns and shrapnel injuries. Escalante is demanding that police investigate.
I found out through the other child that was involved with my son, he also had his hands exploded and severe cuts to his face. His mother told me that every year they sell illegal fireworks here. So I don't know if the Anaheim Police Department knows about this or not, but they need to start investigating because this needs to stop.
You see the tree? Behind the tree, this side.
Armando Ribeiro describes a scene where people were throwing mortars in the street, including the two teenage boys playing with illegal fireworks that eventually exploded in their hands.
The fireworks exploded in the hand. He lost this one, this here, and two fingers here.
Escalante says her injured son's twin called her screaming. He was with his brother on the 4th of July. He is traumatized.
I don't doubt it. Watching your brother get his fucking fingers blown off, that's a crazy, life-changing experience. I hope that things go better for that family, and I hope that son, unfortunately makes better choices in the future. Because that sucks. It sucks when a mistake is like a life lesson, and it's like you're never going to be the same after that. That's a horrific way to learn a lesson. Nobody wants it, and it's awful that it happened to this poor kid. It's terrible. I'm not going to be happy or whatever about the fact that it happened. I just want it to be a teaching moment to where, if you're however old, 16, 17, if you're not even if you're literally below the age of 20-something, fireworks not a great idea. If you're not hanging out with your family, if your cool uncle isn't the one bringing the fireworks and he's like, I went out of state and I grabbed these and we're going to set these off, but they're solid, you know what I mean? They got 15 shots, we got the hose, we'll be able to spray them down and all that shit. If you're not prepped, don't do it. Just don't do it. I know how tempting it is to be fun, to be a dumbass. I know how tempting it is to drive fast, to go above the speed limit, to live life on the edge. I'm not even living life on the edge. I'm just living life the way that I want to. You're just a fucking loser, and you'll die eventually, or you'll be taught a lesson when you're flung into traffic one day. It's fine. Not my problem. Not my problem. I'll be the person that maybe is accidentally careened into because I was following the laws when one of you dumbasses for some reason decided to ruin lives. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is not directed at anyone in particular, but if you're just a type of person that doesn't choose to live life like a safe person, you're gonna have something bad happen to you one day, unfortunately, and it'll be a teaching moment, but it'll be one that you wish you didn't have to go through. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's cover our final story. The Persian Gulf is tense right now. Let's put it that way. After Iran has launched attacks on Kuwait, Bahrain, after the latest U.S. strikes. In general, the ceasefire, it's over. I'm just going to tell it to you like it is. Donald Trump isn't even pretending that it's still a thing. The Iranian strikes were a direct response to 2 consecutive days of heavy American military bombardment. President Donald Trump ordered the U.S. airstrikes after accusing Tehran of violating the peace memorandum by attacking commercial oil tankers in the vital Strait of Hormuz. In retaliation, the U.S. military targeted over 80 Iranian coastal sites, including radar systems and naval vessels, prompting President Trump to declare that the temporary truce was officially over. Tehran responded swiftly and aggressively, launching with what the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps call a punitive response against the U.S. military in installations in neighboring Gulf states. Kamikaze drones and ballistic missiles targeting Camp Arifjan and Ali Al Salem Air Base in Kuwait, as well as U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters in Bahrain. While Kuwait and Bahrain air defenses have successfully intercepted a majority of the incoming threats, falling debris in Kuwait reportedly wounded one person and caused scattered damage. This is just hours before the scheduled burial of the late Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, where there was, performances, people up on stage chanting the Death to America stuff, and I'm not saying who can blame them because, they're angry at us. They've always been angry at us, especially because we tend to intermingle ourselves in their politics. I just don't that's not very peace. That doesn't sound like you guys want peace. Even the Americans here, even though you're blowing the shit out of our air bases, we still want peace. You know what I mean? You guys are just losing your spirit. In his hometown of Mashhad is where it happened. The U.S. is expanding its airstrikes, and Iran is threatening to target even more military air bases, American ones, if the attacks are continuing. Regional analysts are warning the Middle East is rapidly sliding back into a full state of continued warfare.
And this new escalation with Iran also taking a toll on oil and gas prices, as well as...
We're winning!
We're going to break it all down for us.
We're almost done. Don't even worry.
Christine Romans. Christine, nice to see you, as always. We had seen oil and gas prices coming down over the last few weeks. Where do things stand right now, and where do you get a sense, with your spidey sense, of where this is going?
There had been a real improvement in oil and gas prices, and you've probably seen it if you've gone to the pump, but overnight we saw gas prices jump 5 cents. So you've seen a reversal of that progress, because the president says the ceasefire is over, the memorandum of understanding toward peace talks is dead, and these new strikes in Iran has brought this conflict back to the beginning, essentially. Remember, this started way back in February. You saw gas prices jump as high as $4.50, and Patrick DeHaan over at Gas Buddy tells us, if you don't have real progress here and you don't have more ships moving through the Strait of Hormuz, there are some, but not even close to what it was before the war, you're going to have a problem with gas prices in the near term. You could see us moving back toward $4 a gallon here pretty soon.
And even if the war were to end tomorrow, it would still take some time for those gas prices to
months and months potentially here, because you have such a backlog of oil that has just been off of the market. You've got some producers that are trying to produce more. You've got some levers that have been pulled around the world, but I don't want to...
See, this all sounds bad, but have you heard of Trump coin?
I want to be very clear. This has been a huge...
Trump coin will fix all your problems.
Huge disruption for oil production and for getting oil supplies to the overall market. So I think that you'll see that markets overall, but especially gas and oil markets, are going to be very, very susceptible to any kinds of headlines that you're seeing out of the Middle East and from the president in particular.
What did we see with the stock market yesterday? How did the market respond to all
Yeah,
this?
it was a tough day. You know,
it was a tough day.
The NASDAQ up a little bit. The NASDAQ has been really marching to its own drummer. A lot
The
of
Dow and the
investment
S&P
into
are down.
artificial intelligence. In fact, it's been, you've heard me say it, a split screen. You've got affordability concerns.
I will never be able to read the Dow index name ever the same way again because of recent, unfortunately, cancer patient Pam Bondi. The Dow!
American consumers who are laser focused on gas prices and the cost of living, yet the stock market has really had a very good year because earnings for S&P 500 companies have been very, very strong. The investment for artificial intelligence has just flooded money into the stock market. And so investors and I think American consumers have got two different playbooks that they're seeing here today. But we'll watch carefully what happens in the stock market. There are many market analysts who tell me stocks might be, over optimistic on a quick end to the war with Iran. And so that's something to watch here in the near term.
Well, is it possible that I'm under-optimistic? Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how you feel about the war, but I don't feel like it's going anywhere positive, even remotely soon. But that's just me. That's just little old me, ladies and gentlemen. And now it's up to you to make your decisions. It's up to you to gather all the information I've given you today, decide how you feel about it, sit with it, and maybe come back and join us for our Friday broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. I've been Ollie Vogt Larson with Your Brain on Air. If you'd like to be there for our Friday final for the week broadcast, we'll be back at it again next Monday. Subscribe, like if you liked it, ring the bell for notifications. I have been Ollie Vogt Larson with Your Brain on Air. Thank you so very much for listening. I'll catch you in tomorrow's broadcast. In the meantime, bye-bye.